Montenegro Tour. A cultural, historical and adventurous trip that will give you a chance to learn a lot about this country of contrasts and differences, as well as to enjoy in its natural beauties. The ancient town of Kotor, a medieval Mediterranean jewel under UNESCO protection, is the first stop on this excursion. We tour the town, visiting one of the museums. Our journey continues along the steep slopes of Mount Lovćen up to a small village Njeguši, the birthplace of the dynasty Petrović, where we make a half-hour stop to taste the locally produced cheese, smoked ham, meat and wine. We continue over the mountains, enjoying beautiful view of the Sea of Stone, to the old royal capital of Montenegro, Cetinje, with its King Nicholas Palace and Cetinje Monastery spiritual center. After visiting the town and palace, we return to the hotels. Dubrovnik. We travel by bus along the beautiful Bay of Kotor, the most southern fjord in Europe, crossing it by ferryboat. After crossing the border with Croatia, we arrive at the ancient famous city of Dubrovnik, lying in the sun inside medieval walls. Dubrovnik is one of the most beautiful and best preserved medieval Mediterranean towns, rich with cultural monuments. It is under the protection of UNESCO. The sightseeing with the local guides includes the visit to a Franciscan friary with a 14th century pharmacy. After sightseeing, there is free time for lunch and shopping, or just sitting in one of its numerous cafe bars and enjoying the atmosphere of this beautiful town. In the afternoon, we return by bus to the hotel. Skadar Lake. The biggest lake on the Balkan Peninsula, with rare beauty, various bird species and plants, pleasant climate, natural wonders, rich historical heritage, all this can be found at one place, Montenegro National Park, Skadar Lake. Enjoying the beautiful scenery, we travel by bus from the coast over the mountains to the lake where we board a boat for a cruise around it. Clear water everywhere, lush lake vegetation and the birds and fish you see make this trip memorable. Lunch in a restaurant featuring lake fish specialties and the local wine in a unique ambience. After lunch and free time, we return to the hotels. The wild beauty of Montenegro. One of the advantages of such a small country as Montenegro is the possibility to escape from the coast and discover its mountains and wild nature in just one day. On this trip, we take you to the inland of Montenegro with beautiful green mountains, rivers and canyons. We are driven up the mount, enjoying the sight of the coast, past the capital Podgorica and through the breathtaking canyon of River Morača. We visit the monastery Morača, a monument of extreme importance dating back to 13th century. Continuing our journey over the picturesque mountains, we reach one of the cleanest rivers in Europe, the Tara. Its canyon is the second deepest in the world after Colorado. For lunch made of national specialties, we stop in one of the local restaurants by the river. We continue our panoramic ride to the National Park Durmitor, up to the famous bridge Đurđevića Tara, high on the river, where we make a photo stop and a short walk. Return to the hotel over Žabljak, the town situated on 1,456 meters of altitude, and further on over Nikšić and Podgorica. Albania. On this excursion, you have unique opportunity to visit neighboring country Albania, country of rich cultural heritage and tradition that was totally isolated from the rest of the world for more than 50 years of 20th century. We travel by coach to the south along the Adriatic coastline, passing towns Petrovac, Bar and Ulcinj, the most southern Montenegrin town where European and Oriental cultures mixed. Road from Ulcinj to the border passes through the villages inhabited by Albanians. We cross the border in the place called Sukobin and continue our journey sightseeing Albanian villages near three rivers, Buna, Drini and Kiri, that surround Fortress Rozafa. We come to Skadar, town on Skadar Lake, the old mercantile center with medieval fortress. We visit archaeological museum with different objects from Bronze Age, Hellenic and Roman periods, and then the fortress and also the remnants of an old settlement from Bronze Age, 4,000 years BC. After visiting Skadar, we have lunch in a restaurant on the river bank and enjoy specialties from traditional Albanian kitchen. After lunch, we return to our hotels. Boca by day. If you want to spend a nice day at the sea and discover the most southern fjord in Europe, you can join us on this excursion. We travel by coach to Tivat, where we board a boat that will take us through the beautiful fjord surrounded by dramatic mountains. The sight of them, combined with calm sea water, will take your breath away. We pass through narrow passage Verige and nearby small coastal towns, Lepetani, Stoliv, Prčanj, Muo, and the old town of Kotor, under UNESCO protection, which is encircled by ancient walls. In the heart of the bay, we stop at the small island Gospod Škrpjela to visit a church from the 17th century, a well-known holy place decorated with 68 frescoes painted by famous Baroque painter of the area, Tripo Kokolja. Lunch is served on board. Free time in one of local villages or for swimming if weather permits. Boat ride to Kotor and bus transfer to the hotel. Fish picnic. We take a boat for a panoramic trip along the most beautiful part of the coast, passing by the old town of Budva, the island St. Nicholas, the hotel island Sveti Stefan, and some hidden exotic beaches. We stop at one of these beaches for a fish lunch with drinks. There, you will have a chance to swim in the clear water and relax in the sun. In the afternoon, we return by boat to the hotels. Rafting. Rafting on the river Tara is one of the most exciting experiences you can have in Montenegro. The Tara Canyon is the second deepest in the world after Colorado Canyon, and it is a unique oasis of silence and untouched nature. In the early morning, we leave the hotel, drive inland through the beautiful mountain scenery. After approximately 3.5 hours drive, we arrive at Stjepan Polje, where we have a national breakfast. We then start our 4WV journey to the place from where the rafting starts down the Tara through its white waters. The river is limpid green and drinkable, and the exciting but not dangerous rafting cannot be described, it can only be experienced. After rafting, approximately 3.5 to 4 hours, we have a local specialties lunch and then we return to the hotels.